What's going on, everyone? This is the Popcorn Heroes review of Mulan. I am Juan Mulan. I am Armando. With me, as always, is Pedro.
Hello, hello.
And God's gift, Orlando.
Yo, yo.
What is about? No, it's what it's up. So
Armando's losing it.
So everyone, we're gonna be discussing, talking, reviewing Mulan. The original theatrical release was supposed to come out at the end of March, but instead got delayed due to coronavirus and got extremely pushed back. Was supposed to come out in theaters then in August, the beginning of August, and then Disney said, nah, fuck it, let's release it on Disney Plus. And it went on Disney Plus for $30, but you had to subscribe to Disney Plus in order to get pay for it at $30. But lucky for you, we paid those $30 just to talk about this movie and review it and let you know if it was worth those $30. But before we get to all that, Pedro, what is the premise?
Well, the premise. This is an adaptation of Mulan, the very famous legend, Chinese legend that everyone knows about. They made countless movies. They made an animated movie, Disney, and now Disney made a live action movie. Like, they've been making live actions of all their stuff. So, anyways, it's about this girl named Mulan, and China is at war with, in this movie, with the what were they called? This group of invaders, the Ruan, not the Huns this time. They were the Ruan people.
Yeah.
And so China has this order to have all the males join the fight. And of course, in Mulan's family, the only male is her father, who's already old and, beat up. So pretty much she, in the middle of the night, escapes, pretends to be a boy, and fights for her family. That's the general premise.
Nice, Pedro. Love the premise. Loved it.
Thanks.
It is completely different from the animated movie, except the general premise of it, of Mulan running away and being a woman that is forbidden to be in the men's army where she pretends to be a man. So that's pretty much the basis, the basic thread that connects these movies. Because apart from that, everything changes, But anyways, before we our tradition, what we usually do is we give you a 1 out of 5, and then we give you our very small thoughts, spoiler free, of course, and then we just jump into those spoilers. So Pedro, kick it off with your small thoughts and 1 out of 5. What would you give it?
I am going to say that I give it a 2.5. I didn't necessarily not like it, but I definitely didn't like it. I just thought it was whatever. It was a whatever movie. It had a lot of potential. I felt like, I'll get into it more as we get into the spoilers, but I felt like there was a certain style that they should have pushed into. Instead, they went the more realistic route and just dabbled in the other style. Big mistake in my opinion. But I don't know. I just didn't. I just felt it was very bland. There wasn't too much going on. The acting was like not good. There was only one villain that I really enjoyed, but even they couldn't carry the film. So yeah, man, just overall bland. Definitely. Let me think of all the live action Disney films. Would I say it's the worst?
No.
I would probably say it's the worst. I think so.
For me, Aladdin is the worst.
No. I think this is worse than Aladdin.
Because
they're both by far the lowest, hands down. Sure. But I will give it to Mulan a little bit more, just because I'm a little more biased, because Mulan had a lot more potential, and I'm just
Yeah.
frustrated that they didn't tap into that potential.
They
So
didn't.
it's me more just being mad, which is the reason why I'm saying fuck this movie.
Yeah.
So, but again, I didn't really dislike it, but I'm just like, oh my god, you had so much potential.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, without getting into spoilers, that's the gist.
Yep.
2.5. It was okay.
Yeah, I agree with you, dude. I give that a 2.5, and the only reason why I give it a 2.5 is because it was visually beautiful movie. This movie was like, I loved how it looked visually. It was great. The sceneries, the colors, and the setting, the costumes, and all that stuff was beautiful looking. But for me, it felt like people who did not know or understand Chinese culture trying to make a Chinese epic, and they're highly pandering to the Chinese audience, but yet they didn't know anything about the Chinese audience in order to pander to them. So it's kind of like it was a waste of time, to be honest with you. Like, you just should have just, I didn't mind the differences, the changes. I wish they would have put at least one or two of their major songs in the movie, because this movie has no songs from the animated series. I mean, the animated movie. I think at least a minimum they should have put "Make You a Man" or something like that. Which is the big song, the biggest song in the Mulan series.
Yeah, I'll make a man out of you.
Yeah, there you go. I'll make a man out of you. And they didn't do any of that. And again, this movie was highly pandering to the Chinese audience, and they didn't even know how to do that. It was for the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, this is just the biggest pandering I've ever seen, and you're doing it terribly wrong. If they wanted to make a Chinese epic, I felt like they should have made a Chinese epic. You know what I'm saying? They should have turned this into they should have gotten Chinese people to make this movie into a Chinese epic, Make it all flying like kind of like Hero or something like that, that have all these acrobatics and fast moving action sequences, and make it more, I don't know. If they should have done that, And they had 100%. Jet Li, who I didn't even know it was Jet Li, to be honest with you, until
I had no idea it was Jet Li
until the end. When you see his face, I'm like, oh my god, this is Jet Li. Like, when you kind of clearly saw it. I think people say that I think his voice got dubbed over also, so it wasn't really his actual voice.
No, that was his voice. He was just doing a more deep, imperial, voice.
Because his voice is very soft.
That was just him.
It's very high pitched.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
He's also older too. Your vocal cords get, but it was totally him.
Yeah, it just didn't really, feel right. There's something completely off about this movie, and the acting, like you said, it wasn't great. I don't know. No. It was just it was very hollow, dude. Like it felt uneventful.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole thing, the whole time I'm watching it, and I don't know. I just, like you said, there was potential for it to be something, and it never was that something. And I wish they could have done that. I wish they could have gone the extra step, because they had good they had good martial artists. Jet Li, who barely got used, and you had Donnie Yen, who also got barely used.
It was
just kind of like waste, yeah. And you got what's his name? The bad guy,
Jason Scott Lee.
Jason Scott Lee, and he was fucking barely used either. And I don't know, wasted. It was just a waste, man. And it's funny because the original, it was the Huts, right? They were fighting the Huts or something like that.
The Huns,
yeah. Right?
Well, the Huns, Mongolians, just any type of invader that China had in that time. Then yeah.
So it's funny that they were pandering so much to China, and they didn't use one of their biggest pieces, which was the Huns. Saying like the Mongolians had an amazing culture, a massive thing, and they didn't use them because they wanted to pander to China. It's kind of like, you wasted it all. You should just I think Chinese people really feel and know and understand when they're getting pandered to, and this movie was that. And from what I read, Chinese audiences didn't even like the movie.
I was gonna say the numbers speak louder, and they definitely didn't care for it either. So it just seems like you failed on both ends. Yeah. On the American side and on the Chinese side, you just failed to pick a tone. That's what I think happened.
And I think that I think Chinese honestly relatively like American movies, so you should have just done an American movie and they would have watched it anyway. So I don't know. Right. Orlando, your thoughts? 1 out of 5, and you're small spoiler free.
I give it a 3. I liked it. Just for some clarity, I watched it in Spanish because I watched it with my family. So I watched it in Spanish with English subtitles.
How was the Spanish dubbing?
It wasn't too bad. And then as well, like, I saw it, like, half the movie in English, and I was like, you know what? I'm not missing much. You know, I thought maybe it might be a different feeling, but I watched pretty much up to like the camp and like the training and stuff. So I watched quite a lot, enough to know each character and how they sound like, to at least get like a full scope, kind of like a full scope of what the movie could have been like. But it really didn't change my opinion of it. Mm-hmm. At this point, it just feels kind of. I feel like when it comes to like these new remakes of these like live action movies, it kind of reminds me of like Nintendo. Like, you just keep using your same property over and over. But like this is like if Nintendo was shit at making like Mario and Zelda games. You know, like, yo, you got to do something different. Like, I would have preferred a whole different movie, a whole different Chinese movie. I would have preferred like anything but what I got. Just for the simple fact that we already seen this movie already. And at the end of the day, I think like there is something to. I understand like why they might want to use music or something, like maybe keep it like respectable to the Chinese culture. Like, I never seen a Chinese movie really be a musical, you know. So I guess I understand like why they might do that, but still, like, it's not like there's a certain magic to cartoon movies, to animated movies, and if you just can't recapture that magic. Like, not to like put a pun in like the Aladdin movie as well, like the genie's out the bottle, basically. Like, you know, like, you can't put it back in. Like, you can't recapture that magic. Aladdin was great, I think, in my opinion. I think Aladdin was a good movie, but I just think that like it's not as good as animated, because it's just, with animation, your mind is left to believe the magic and the whims, like the whimsical nature of that fantasy, as opposed to like live action. So yeah, so I just felt like it just couldn't really capture what the animated version did so well. And at that point, if you can't recapture that or make it different, that it's its own movie, then like, what are you doing? What's the point of making these movies?
Right.
So, well, yeah, you know, I kind of disagree with what you said, that like Chinese artists wouldn't have liked the musical, because I feel like they do like over the top shit. I mean, the movies I've seen from them are very over the top, so I don't think they would have hated or disliked having music in their films.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm not well versed in like Chinese movies, but the ones I have seen, I've never seen like a Chinese musical. You know, so like it's not like, I'm wondering what is the reason why they didn't have any music at all. You know, like, why didn't you have any like songs or anything? And my only thing is just like, because every live action, I'm not sure of every live action, but the ones I've seen of these remakes have had music. Or the only one I haven't seen was Cinderella, and I'm not sure if it had music in it.
I think so. I think it does.
So like, at this point, like, why did you choose not to? Is it out of like respect for the culture? Is it like a, you know, because I don't really see music taken away from the movie at all. If anything, it just adds to the movie. I don't see it. I can't see it like bringing the movie down in any way. But maybe I'm looking at it through like an American lens, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's strange. I don't think they even said why they took away the music or anything like that. It's very unusual for them to do that when their movie was about, when other movies have been about that. But well, I guess it is what it is. But before we jump into spoilers, gentlemen, would you recommend people spending the $30 or waiting till December for the free?
December, 100%, 120%. Don't spend $30. I wouldn't even spend $30 normally. I really only did it because we haven't had like movies to watch, and I'm just like, fuck it, let's watch a movie.
Yeah.
But $30 for any movie is too steep for me. Maybe Tenet. I pay $30 for Tenet, but you know what I mean. So yeah. Wait till December.
What do you think, Orlando?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you should purchase it for $30. I mean, unless you're like, if you have kids and you are like hankering for like a movie, like they you know, but this is really not worth it. I'm curious, did your kid like it, Armando?
I'm not sure. He saw it with his mom, so I haven't asked him what he thought about it. But yeah, I wouldn't pay $30. I mean, I don't recommend anyone to do it. Just wait till December, and I think you will personally like it more waiting till December and seeing it for free with your subscription to Disney Plus than paying those extra $30 to unlock it. But yeah, let's get into it, gents. Spoilers ahead. Spoilers. We got spoilers here. Cool. Spoilers.
Right from the get-go, I agree with what Armando was saying. That they couldn't pick a style, so they were going realistic, but they should have went full-blown Chinese opera, which is what Armando was talking about, like the Chinese epic. Like, go full Crouching Tiger style, you know, House of Flying Daggers, you know, Hero, that type of stuff, because that was a part that in the film that was very important. They were, you know, this whole thing about chi, who has chi or whatever. So pretty much it's like realistic fighting until her chi kicks in, and then she starts fighting like a badass. Same thing with the Rorans. The Rorans, they were like walking on walls and shit. So clearly they're on like a whole other level. While when you go to the boot camp, all of them suck. What should have happened was, as they're training, they start doing the moves. Like, they get the chi, and then they start doing the moves. And then Donnie Yen starts doing it too, you know, like to teach them. There just should have been more of that visually, because once the fighting started, no one was doing any epic moves except Mulan. And that really bothered me, because they didn't take advantage of the exaggeration of that style. And I think that's the main reason why they didn't make it a musical, because they were like, oh, let's make it a Chinese opera epic style. But they didn't dive deep into that style. So pretty much it was just like a big missed opportunity. Visually, a lot of the scenes were nice. They were gorgeous. But they didn't take it that step further that it was needed. And one of the things that I really loved that they added, they tried making it its own film, but they stopped short. Like, I actually really enjoyed the introduction of the sorceress, the witch. And I liked that there was a moment where she was trying to convince Mulan to like join her, and you saw their similarities. You know, oh, I have chi, and then everyone thought I was a witch. Blah blah blah. It was a very good parallel to like, oh my God, this woman has a lot of power too. You know, Mulan, and then they kick her out when they needed her. But they should have done more. That scene was way too quick. It was literally like they just met, they did the back and forth on whether she would join or not, and then within the same conversation she's like, no, I won't join you. I'm like, no, there should have been a little more, like maybe day after, like maybe she meets her in the beginning of training, like runs into her somehow, and then goes back to training, and then, you know, as the training progresses, I don't know, just slowly start tempting her, and then the final temptation is when the battle happens, she reveals she's a woman, and then they're like, oh, fuck you, and then that's when she kind of gets like that little like, should I join the dark side moment. I felt that moment should have been milked, because I thought she was a very good character that was very underused. That was my biggest gripe. Those two things were my biggest gripe. The style and the villains were underused like crazy.
Yeah. Well, one of the scenes I hated a lot was the avalanche, where out of nowhere,
oh my God,
she's in the battlefield, and she jumps to behind the enemy lines from nowhere. She puts all these helmets, like you never see her put helmets on. Put those helmets there, and she distracts these people, and they shoot, and then she's riding a horse in an avalanche. And I'm just like,
yeah, she's riding over the avalanche, and she's rescuing people that are already being tumbled in the avalanche. She's magically riding on it. Yeah, that scene was horrible.
This
horrible
is
scene.
So stupid, dude. I mean, for me, I felt like to the point where she's got into the training camp. After that, it was just kind of the movie just went to shit to me. Because at first it was kind of like, oh, you know, it's nice. You get to see the culture and all this good stuff. And then all of a sudden, the movie, and then she goes to the camp and like, oh, that's cool. You know, she. And what I also didn't like was the love interest. Like they didn't have any love interest for her. I don't necessarily want her to. It's okay if she doesn't end up with that person, but at least there should have been more mutual.
There should have been more chemistry. There was no chemistry between them.
So
that's what it was.
Because they took it away. They didn't want that. And it was just kind of like, all right, man, I guess, whatever, man. It was just...
It was funny because I was watching it with Shanti and we were kind of making jokes about it. Like, it almost seemed like... Because, you know, there's always a lot of jokes with the animated film where it was like, oh, he totally loved Ping, but doesn't love Mulan. Like they were gay for each other, you know? And then when she reveals she's Mulan, that's when he feels hurt. He's like... my homeboy that I was in love with. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. So there's so many jokes about it, but just the way the acting and the dialogue was kind of made it seem like it was that. So I was kind of cracking up like, oh, all these jokes that people make about it, where he was just like, oh, he was more mad that Mulan wasn't a guy rather than like, because he loved him rather than, yeah.
I don't know. It was just, yeah.
But I felt like there was no chemistry between them.
Yeah, going back to where you said, Pedro, in the beginning about like the chi and stuff. I guess I thought maybe that was like a decision made to say that, like, I mean, clearly, like, you know, Mulan is definitely a movie about women empowerment. It's always been that kind of movie. It's always been about like that message, you know, about equality and women empowerment. So it was always a movie, even in the animated version. And I think the reason maybe why they didn't have like the chi play a bigger effort, have a bigger moment with the other guys is because you have to separate her, I guess, in the sense of like, yeah, she has chi and she's a woman,
right?
And I think that's maybe why she didn't. They didn't have multiple people with chi.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you,
I would agree 100% with you if the Emperor didn't have chi at the end or Donnie Yen didn't have his moment. You know? Then it would have been like, oh, okay, now it's a metaphor for women are like just as powerful, if not more powerful. But the fact that other people throughout the movie were using chi, including the Roarin villains that were walking on walls, that's what throws that theory out of whack, what you're saying. But right. I did kind of, that thought did cross my mind until I started thinking, wait a minute, but a bunch of people have it. And then I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah, I didn't, to be honest, I didn't like the fact that they put chi in this movie. I thought it was just pointless. It was irrelevant. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
You don't need an explanation for them to be good. If they were trying to be a Chinese epic, they were just good and they were crazy and good. You know, that's an explanation for the American audience. In order to explain how these people are flying through walls and doing all these crazy things, like, you don't need all that crap, man. Just have people fly around and do crazy stunts, and you know,
that's what I'm saying. So stupid. You either do the full realistic version like you wanted, or the full blown chi-tastic version like I wanted. The fact that it was in between is what threw the movie off, in my opinion.
But
yeah, it was so dumb, man. So dumb, so irrelevant. It just diminished the movie even more.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you guys with the villain. Wow, like I understood, like, oh, this is just the opposite side of the coin of like what could be you. I felt that like some of the stuff was unearned, you know, like her sacrificing herself for Mulan, her being like, you know, it's such a quick turnaround from like, okay, men don't respect me, they respect you. I'm kind of jealous of it, but since they respect you, like, I want you to be like the one that succeeds. I want you to be like the one that makes it, because I don't have as of right now, I can't win. So if I can't win, I want you to win. That's how I kind of took it. But
I pretty much took it as she's like, I had my chance and I fucked it up, but you still have that chance, so I'm gonna die to make sure you have it.
Right. I mean, I don't think I fucked it up. She didn't really do anything to fuck it up. It's just, she wasn't accepted by men, by the culture. So I think
it's actually acceptance because she was too strong and men thought if women are too strong, they're witches.
Right.
That's literally the gist of it.
Mm-hmm. And so I just felt like their relationship was a little bit unearned, given the fact they've only interacted like a few times. I agree. And it just felt like it.
And her turn. Her turn was came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're fucking up all these people, and then all of a sudden, oh wait, I gotta save Mulan. I was like, I guess.
it was like I said, it was a rushed arc. If they're gonna use her, they should have used more of her. Like stretch it out, like you said, have it earned by the end. The main beats I enjoyed, but the way they got to them was just like, what the fuck did you guys do? You guys just threw it together.
Yeah, and I think like I was thinking in the sense of like how you said it was pandering to the Chinese audience. I was trying to I guess like understand that concept, but I didn't think it was a pandering. I just thought like it just, I don't know, I just felt like it just didn't do enough to separate itself from what we've already seen. And especially when it comes to like Chinese epics like Hero and Crouching Tiger and all the rest, like if you're going to make a movie that is just whole Chinese cast and the Chinese movie like Mulan, like we expect that kind of standard, and it's weird that with that much of a cast, especially with like Jet Li being in it, who is arguably like he was in Hero and a bunch of other movies, and so you would assume that he would not have to say it, but at least be like, yo, this isn't it, like whatever this y'all think this is it, like this is not like as good as you guys want it to be. But I mean, he's an actor.
I don't think he saw the movie at all. He was only in it. He was only in the throne room. He was in the movie for like 5 minutes at most. Yeah.
He wasn't really in the movie that much, but. And then I started looking at like the producers and like the director, and they're like not American, like New Zealand, Australian, like I mean different people from different backgrounds, but clearly not like there's not like a Chinese person overseeing like this like movie, I'm sure they had like advisors and people come in like, hey, this is culturally correct, is this like okay? I'm sure they had that, but they just,
which could be a reason why they changed the villains to the Rorans, because they're extinct. That tribe, that group of wanderers doesn't exist anymore. So there's no one alive for you to like
complain about.
For someone to go, hey, what the fuck? We're not all like that. And it's like, well, I mean, historically you guys attacked, but okay, we'll just come up with this group that doesn't exist anymore.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Go ahead.
That makes sense. That's it.
Yeah. And the Sorceress wasn't in the animated movie, right?
No.
It's another adding shit that didn't even make sense. So it was pointless. I thought her character was pointless because they didn't do anything with her.
I mean, I think the character's obviously there to show that like the other side of it, the other side of like women not being accepted. This is what happens when you are powerful and you are like top notch, but still like you still don't get the respect that you deserve. I think that was like the other side of it. I mean, I think at the end of the day, Mulan, the animated version just did a good job of displaying that, but I think also like the animated version, I think by the music it did demonstrate those messages about, I'll make a man out of you, and she's in the army, and she's like, like that song is clearly like saying like, yeah, this is about men, and men are like men are powerful and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, she's like, this is the one thing that I cannot do is become a man. So
yeah, and even the Christina Aguilera song, I'm not sure what is it. The name of the song? Reflection.
My reflection show.
Exactly, and it's just like
well, you heard it. They played the melody in the background.
They did,
and then it went away.
I think they should have played that song. I mean, I disagree with Armando. Like the biggest song of Mulan is Reflections. Like that is like the
that's what I said. They should have played one or two of the biggest songs.
Right.
Either or, like I always felt like Make a Man was the biggest one, but you could definitely say Reflections, but they should have done both or one or the other. Like
Right.
there's no reason why this movie couldn't have had one of those songs.
Like even Jungle Book, that isn't a musical. They had the King Louis song. They still did the Bare Necessity, and then they cut it from the movie, but the snake, had her song. What they did was they just put it in the credits because it was a deleted scene that was never animated. But even then, they added the big ones. So, but whatever. I wasn't too crazy about avoiding the musical. It was just everything else that kind of like. There was just no. I don't know. It was just. It just felt like too many. There were too many hands in the fucking cookie jar, and it was just like.
Right.
It felt like there was a lot of corporate like overseers over this shit, and it kind of shifted the movie in a bunch of different ways. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of shit behind the scenes going on.
Yeah,
because it felt like it was.
I mean, I think nowadays when you're making a movie about like a different culture and like a and you're trying to do what's right, obviously on all Chinese cast, but still like people who have their hands in their pockets are maybe not from that country. It's you try to make sure that you don't do too much to offend or you do too little to offend. I mean, you're in a weird position nowadays. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but like I said, like if you're going to make a Chinese movie like that, like have everyone who touches it be part of the culture, and that way you can do its best for like that those people. I mean, let's look at Ghost of Tsushima. Like honestly, one of the best PS4 games out there, and it's made by a team in Seattle of different ethnic groups, but mostly Americans, and so you have them making this Japanese epic of a game, but they had advisors constantly there saying like, hey, this is not how you hold a katana, this is not how you sip tea, this is like they had people there constantly advising them like this is what, like, these are the Japanese movies you should be watching, this is the stuff that you should be referencing, like show some tender love and care, and that
and it was praise all around, even Japanese people. And it was a high selling game in Japan. So
so I don't think,
that's how you know it did a good job.
Yeah, so I think you can make content that's not part of your culture as long as you show respect. And I don't think the Mulan didn't show respect. True. I just think it just didn't do enough like to separate itself from the greats. Like I think maybe if anything they played it safe. Like maybe they didn't do so much of
they played it safe. That's exactly what it is. They played it safe.
Maybe they didn't do that Crouching Tiger stuff.
When you play it safe, it just comes out bland, which is what it was.
And maybe that's why they didn't do the Crouching Tiger stuff, because they thought maybe like, oh well, Disney, Bob Iger, and like this is like like they thought the corporate part of Disney would be get some backlash from that, like, oh, you're making this Chinese epic, but your director is New Zealand and your producer is like Australian, and it's like, who knows? Maybe that's what it was, that they didn't go fully Chinese, I don't know, or fully embrace those kind of movies.
Yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying. It's just, I don't know, man. I think these people didn't understand or know the culture they were trying to make a movie out of, right? And I know that's what you guys are, the gist of what you guys are saying, but they just. It was like people trying to mimic something without understanding it, and I don't know. I just felt like that was a terrible thing I was watching on screen. That's why I felt like they were pandering, because they didn't know what they were just trying to mimic something that they didn't fully understand, and thinking, hey, the Chinese audience love this type of thing. I think they were watching movies like, oh, you see these flying people, Chinese people will love this, and let's put it in the film. Oh, they have that in their movie. Oh, let's put this in the film. Oh, Chinese people love Jet Li and Donnie Yen. They're super. American audiences love them, and Chinese audiences. Let's put them in the movie. I thought it was just kind of like they're just throwing shit like they saw, and like, oh, Chinese people will love this.
It's weird though that for a studio to do that because it is like it's it is Disney. Like, you have the funds, so it's like I don't think it's like lack of trying. I just think it's honestly like maybe they just wanted to play it safe. Like, I just think it's just like maybe they had advisors and they're like, oh wait, that would be too much of that. I mean, look at Aladdin obviously like a Middle Eastern movie, and I thought like the set design, I thought like the costumes were great. I didn't think anything wrong with like the way they presented Aladdin. I thought that it presented it really well.
I don't think that's something that's missing from Disney is either costumes or set designs, because Mulan was beautiful and the costumes were beautiful. I don't think that's it. Like, they obviously they got that shit down pat. I just think it's everything else that comes with that is really bad. It wasn't working out. It was terrible. You guys have any more thoughts about the movie before I move on to the next topic I have here for you guys?
Oh, another topic. No. That's pretty much the gist of what I gotta say.
Okay. So what do you guys think about the controversy that came out of this movie? You had one controversy was about the main actress Mulan defending China against the Hong Kong riots.
Yes.
And then the other controversy that came out recently was that either the battle scene or the training scenes were filmed outside of a city that what is it that does encampments, right?
Yep. Essentially concentration camps, or what do they call them? Re-education camps for the Muslims.
Re-education for the Muslims.
Yep. So I didn't hear about the second controversy, the camps, until way after I watched the movie. And then I was like, whoa, I didn't know anything about this. But I knew about the main actress being pro-government. Yeah. So the reason why that one didn't bother me too much, because, of course, everyone has their own fucking opinion. But the other thing is that China has this reputation, the government has this reputation of being like threatening to family. So, I don't know. I had this weird vibe that it's like, oh, you're the face of China right now. Say something about this. And, and it's kind of like hinting like, if you don't say something, we'll punish someone. Obviously, there's no proof that this happened. Right. This is just me clearly just hypothesizing, right? There's nothing was said about this, but that's just the vibe I always got whenever a Chinese celebrity, aside from Jackie Chan is pro-government 120%. That's fine. But for her, I don't know. I'm like, maybe she is. Maybe she was kind of like, oh, I'm worried, for my family, my future, whatever in this country. So let me be pro-government and be about that. So I don't know. I felt like they were forcing her hand in a way, so I didn't really care about that one. But the second controversy, I was like, oh, shit. Right next to the fucking camps. Disney, the overseeing Disney that fucking checks everything and all that, how did that get past them, and how did they expect to like that wasn't gonna backfire? So that surprised the shit out of me.
I mean, how close is next to though?
It was like
right there.
You're like right there, like I forgot what the exact article said, but it was like pretty much, oh, I'm thirsty, let me walk into that town. That's the town. It's that close.
Yeah. So it's too close to not know about it.
Within a mile, I want to say.
Yeah.
Like
to be oblivious about it, unless the Chinese government hid it, and I don't know, like the Chinese government for sure is gonna hide it. But as a studio, you have the resources. People knew about this, so it's not like you couldn't find out about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I'm pretty sure they knew. They kept it hush hush. Or like, whatever, not our problem.
Nobody's gonna find out about this.
No one's gonna find out. But don't underestimate bored 2020 quarantined people that are woke as fuck. Never underestimate that. You're done.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Like at the end of the day, you're still filming in China, and at the end of the day, China is a corrupt government.
Why you're filming in China to begin with? That's
exactly.
my thing.
Well,
I agree.
I don't think you should be filming in China. I don't think no American studio needs to be filming in China.
So while I could see your point, I think for this movie, I think like they wanted. That's why I said like they played it so safe. They're like, okay, we're gonna make an all Chinese cast. We're gonna do some Chinese stuff. Let's make it in China so it's like authentic, you know. But so it's just like you try to be so like check off so many boxes that you ended up like not doing the movie justice, because you could have been like, fuck it, let's get really Chinese and let's do like this crazy Crouching Tiger movie. Fuck it, we're gonna film it in LA. We got space for it or whatever. Like, you know, just and we'll have Chinese actors do their thing. But no, they wanted to make sure that they played it really safe, that like no one can complain about it, you know.
They wanted to be as authentic to the culture as they safely could.
Yeah.
And they were like, fuck it, we might as well film it there.
So I think,
of course, when politics come into play, that's when it all gets complicated.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to that, you're damn if you do, you're damn if you don't kind of, you know, situation. Like,
I don't think they would have been damned if they didn't film in China. Like, you could still make a epic Chinese movie, go somewhere. You could go to any Asian country and film it there. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily have to go to China to film this movie. You're an American studio. You don't need to do that. You could choose wherever you want to go film a movie.
Yeah, well, which I agree with you, but I guess, you know, it's one of those things where like hindsight 2020 has, you know, like the movie's already been made, so we say that, but then what if the backlash was, okay, this movie was made in this other country or in America, but while they had Chinese actors, the workers were American or this or that, and not.
But that's
and
why
the money
you're filming in another Asian country. You don't have to go to China.
Right,
I don't think it's a hindsight 2020, Orlando. I think it's as a studio, you have to know that why would I film in communist China? This Chinese movie, I could have filmed it anywhere in an Asian country. You could have gone to Singapore. You could have gone to any of these other Asian countries. Have given money to the local Asian market. You could have gone to where's all these the raid from? Where's that raid from?
Yeah, Indonesia.
You could have gone to Indonesia. You could have gone to, I don't know, Korea. I mean, not Korea because it's Chinese relations.
I mean, but what about
maybe you could have gone to Korea? I don't know. But the thing is that you could have filmed this in any Asian country and given money to the Asian people. You don't have to go to China.
Well, I'll ask you this: do you think those other countries, though, do they also have a corrupt government?
Well, I don't think Indonesia does.
You know what I'm saying? Because then,
I honestly don't know anything about the Indonesian government.
Exactly. So what if they do? And it's just like, and what if they, like, I'm not sure, but what if they did? And it's the same thing of like, okay, you're filming in this corrupt country and you're giving money to the people who are not Chinese. You know, like, I don't know. I feel like I said, like I'm with the controversy. I just feel like damn if you do, damn if you don't. Like, I just don't know how you can.
I do agree with you.
Do this movie and like not upset somebody.
There would have been something, but I don't think it would have been something enough to affect the movie. But this is the big one that's affecting the movie. Because yeah, she was talking crap, but that wasn't what affected the movie. It was the camps that made everyone go, "Whoa!" I'm definitely not I didn't want to spend $30 before. I'm definitely not spending $30 right now. Yeah, that's kind of what. That was like the last straw where everyone like in unison just went nope.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to movies about like different cultures, like regardless of how authentic it is and how good it is, there's always something like Queen and Slim, for example. You know, black movie with, you know, written by Lena Waithe.
Lena Waithe.
Yeah, Lena Waithe. You know, black actors, like, you know, pretty much, you know, everyone in the movie who had hands on that movie was black, and still like there was slight controversy, not too much like Mulan, but like obviously when in that movie there's a protest and there's a black kid who shoots a cop, you know. So it's just,
yeah, but that's different now. That's different. Like that's,
I'm just saying like
that's not really a filming controversy of who made the movie. I mean, we're talking about
it's a different controversy, but what I'm trying to say is that like at the end of the day, when you make a movie about a culture, like, and even if how good you try to be and authentic you try to be, there's always something, because that culture, you know,
is
like
shooting a cop authentic to the black community.
I mean, I'm not gonna speak for the whole black community, so, but you know what I'm saying, like,
I don't think harming other people is part of the black community, Orlando.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, though, at the end of the day, like, that was something that was controversial. You know, so I just think at the end of the day, like you're when you do these kind of
but
movies,
we're talking about being authentic to a community, and that controversy is just a different aspect of. It's not part of the community. It's just a controversy of a kid shooting a cop. We're talking about things that are part a community, and you're trying to give to that community, and you're trying to help that specific community. Like, I mean, let's give you a perfect example. What's that movie? The Farewell. That movie was highly Asian. Where was that filmed? So I'm gonna look that up. That was a Asian cast, Asian crew, written by an Asian person, directed by an Asian person.
Well, that is a Chinese film. That wasn't an American film. That's a Chinese film.
Ah, okay.
It's considered a foreign film.
Damn, there we go. Shut me down. Let me see. Amazon bought it.
Yeah, because if we look it up right here, well, actually, it does say American. It says American Chinese. So yeah, it was a
American Chinese comedy.
It was a double.
Production.
Film with colleagues. Filming took place in New York and China.
Yep.
Changchun, China. Over the course of 24 days. There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, it's the fact that they were next to camps is where the controversy's at. Not necessarily that they filmed it in the country.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the main part, because we've seen films like we just looked up right now. There are films that have been filmed there in that country, in the communist China country, and it's kind of like, well, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, you're right.
You're making a film about
Yeah, but you're right. I stand corrected, sir. But regardless, a big ass studio like Disney should have,
researched
and I don't know. There's so much things that could have, should have, would have done with this movie, and that's far from one of the biggest problems this movie had.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're just adding to the many problems of the film, but at the end of the day, it needed to be a good film. Period. Then the rest would have been a whole other conversation.
True.
Yeah, absolutely. Any last thoughts, gents?
Negative. Not looking forward to any other Disney live actions for the most part. Most of them disappoint me, so I don't really look forward to any of them.
Yeah, me neither.
At this
Cruella,
point, like
Little Mermaid.
Cruella visually looks great. That single picture they put out looks awesome. So
I don't remember all the
who's
other
gonna
ones.
be Cruella?
Pinocchio. I'm not.
Pinocchio, Mermaid, Pinocchio.
Did you say who's gonna be Cruella?
yeah.
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
It's when she was young.
Yeah, this is before she became Cruella, essentially, or the Cruella beginnings.
Right.
Yeah, but let's see what happens, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ladies and gents, hope you enjoyed this review discussion of Mulan, out on Disney Plus right now for $30 if you're a subscriber. Let us know what your thoughts are. This movie will be free in December, just FYI. So if you don't want to spend those $30, just wait till December, and you could get it for free with your subscription.
Of Disney Plus.
But anyways, hope you enjoyed this review. Let us know your thoughts if you saw the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, let us know if you want to watch it or not. It comes out December 4 on Disney Plus for free. That's what I was looking up. Sorry.
There you go.
But yeah, let us know your thoughts about the movie. If you liked it, what you thought about it, and if you haven't seen it, are you looking forward to seeing it? Let us know. Till next time.
Bye-bye.
Later, guys.